Hello there, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of Director's Commentary for the Lazarus Expedition, coinciding with episode 9 of the Lazarus Expedition's Director's Commentary. We got a big session for you today. As you can see by the spoiler title up here at the top of our overlay, a lot of stuff happens this session. It's a deadly session. So, let's kick it off. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Lazarus Expedition, where falling off a cliff is a realistic solution to your problems.
Right.
We were commenting in the pregame show about how they were trying to figure out how to get into the town. If you remember from last week, they're assaulting a town. And at the end of our conversation, right before we went live, I think Nick said something to the effect of like, well, in 5e, you have this much HP and you take this much falling damage. So, and the truth is in 5e, you can, if you're like a level 3 barbarian, you can survive like 50% chance to survive pretty much any fall. And if you're like a level 5 fighter, you're pretty much guaranteed to survive practically any fall. I mean, you could rig it in ways that you can't, but you take 3.5 damage from every 10 feet that you fall. About, it's a d6. And you need to be brought to negative your maximum HP to not die outright, or at least to, 1 to stay conscious. So if you have 50 HP or 40 HP, like some of these characters do, I think Vasher has 43 HP right here. 43 divided by 3.5 means that Vasher could fall 100 feet. He could fall 120 feet and probably survive. 12 times 3.5 is 42. He's got 43 HP. So let's just call it 100 feet. So he would take about 35 damage from a 100-foot fall, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. So he could throw himself off the cliffs above the city and just land on the street and stand back up and like continue his stuff. It's a little wonky. It's a little ridiculous. You're a barbarian and you rage, so you've got resistance to bludgeoning damage. You take half that as you fall. So there are some wacky ways in 5th edition to get around issues of heights, and a not entirely illegitimate way is just to throw yourself off the cliff and take the damage and then just stand back up. It's actually viable. Oh,
I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah, doing great. Looking forward to rappelling down a cliff and definitely not falling to my death.
True. What have I been doing this week? Well, thanks for asking.
So we left the last session with our players trying to figure out how they're going to assault this town of Cork. And in between sessions, there were Reddit threads, there was conversation happening, and the party didn't really solidify a plan. They talked about plans, they read other people's plans, but they never actually sorted one out for themselves. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit here because there's just a lot of talking about how we're going to take Cork. And in the end, they don't take it. There's just lots of, well, we could come here, we could do this, I don't know if we can handle it. Cassian says, let's go to the dwarves. It's like the peaceful way. It's a great point. It's very reasonable. Steermere is like, oh, but the dwarves, their tunnels are so small. I'm going to my back is going to be hurting. And Cassian's like, well, we can drag you through the tunnels. And I don't think they mention how they would get a horse through the tunnels. Of course, no one knows what the size of these tunnels are. But there's a lot of concern about whether or not that's a good path to go. There's a lot of talk about last session there was some talk about what if we leveled up first before we fought this battle at Cork, but that would actually be like 2 or 3 sessions of fighting to get the XP to attack Cork, whereas Cork is the way to get the XP to do the other stuff. So it's a little bit like, if you're going to go around and fight other things, then you don't need to do... The whole point of assaulting Cork is experience and loot and gear. And so if you're going to go get experience and loot and gear elsewhere, then you don't need to go here. Cork is the path of rage, but you don't have to... it's just the easiest one. You could just run around in the desert fighting bandits for a while, and that's also a righteous path of rage. It's going to take a lot longer. Cork is the easy path of rage. And so, despite all their rage, these people decide not to go. They start talking to Mitzi, and they start asking questions. And in the end, let's find out what the reason was why they didn't go.
How about we just liberate the fucking town after we kill the and get the hill giant going? Someone's gonna get word to the ogre magi.
Ooh, I'm so scared.
All right.
Where is it here?
And we need a place to rest. Well,
Where is it?
You cast silence.
No.
And we attack Grimshacks.
Nope. Still working
That's
on the
inside
plan.
city. That's probably a more favorable fight than the odds going into this. If we can kill Hare, then we can loot Hare shit, and then we can use those items to get into the temple.
Okay.
It's
No, there's a lot at stake here. This could be the end of the whole mission, or it could be the thing that gets.
Vasher will sit and contemplate for a moment.
It does come down to Vasher in the end, I believe. Yes.
and we might level up.
No, there's a lot at stake here. This could be the end of the whole mission, or it could be the thing that gets the whole campaign really going. This could be wealth and armor and magic. But are you the sort of person who walks in through the front door? So we're walking right here. I'm ready for that roll now. Right, somewhere right over
Caravan,
here.
we will.
Yeah, we've not done anything wrong.
We're fine. Let's go. Come on.
Well, let's go
Our
Scales Valley.
existence
The boys.
is a problem to them.
Right
really
here?
between the two is through from Cork to Scalesvale. But if
Right. So the party is going to decide to head back. And the map makes it, maps are kind of hard to look at and they're sort of deceiving. You kind of feel like you can go in any direction and maybe you could just like walk across these hills in this angle, and the hills will just take X amount of movement. I try every now and then to bring in some amount of like, well, these hills aren't actually quite that passable. And the thing between Cork and Scalesvale is that these are difficult high canyons. You're going to see, and you saw in the last session and in this thing that's coming up here, there's these tall walls everywhere. This isn't really like crossable mountains. It's not like you're walking up a gentle hill. This is like big canyons. And so the party, there's really just a path between Cork and Scalesvale, and there's not really like side paths that go out elsewhere. There's like a twisting, winding canyon system that you could spend days or weeks walking through if you're like checking out every avenue looking for something. And you definitely couldn't carry your horses or your camels or your carts up these mountains. It's really just a tiny little pass between Cork and Scalesvale, which is why it's so valuable. To get from the Vargas River to the Great River over here, this is the easiest way between Cork and Scalesvale. Otherwise, you have to haul your stuff up and over these hills, and these hills right here are super hard, or maybe like come up through the Dust Bowl and go around. Like this is a short, fairly easy route. And the rest of this is actually quite challenging. And so after some discussion about like, well, maybe we could just like peel off and go over here, or cut through this, or go over here, or come up here and there, we get to the point that like, there's just one passageway between these two places. And if you're going to go from Cork to Scalesvale, or if you're going to go from this river to that river, like you kind of have to pass through this canyon. It's a narrow area. And the party decides to
out and we go into the Dust Bowl.
Yeah, like he's saying right here.
Fuck his caravan. Who cares? What are they going to do?
you'd have to go to Scalesvale and then up north and then to the Dust Bowl. Like,
all right, I really don't care about the caravan. We will.
Yeah, we've not done.
So our party decides they don't want to fight Cork. They're going to go to Rithraheim. And they're going to find their way to do it. And we end up saying that like you kind of actually have to go through Scalesvale to get there, or at least pass outside of the town of Scalesvale. And the most important role of the game
and begins to head towards Scalesvale.
happens right about here.
Got enough
Somewhere
food?
right here.
Yeah, we have enough food.
We're good.
You were so
sure?
cool. Yes, this morning earlier. What happened?
We've got giant spider rations for you, actually, Mitz.
Here, I'm gonna roll a d20, Koibu. Can I roll for the how well the journey goes?
Yes, I am ready for that roll now. Here it is.
Huge.
Good.
That's good though.
Now-
it's not
good.
always, it's not
Roll's
always
good.
1 and 2 is good. Okay,
Now,
I think there's various numbers.
Wait, I don't see your.
I don't have a plan
Well,
for what an encounter would
Why
be
don't we
here.
take a break right here, and when we come back on the other side, we'll see what happens.
I haven't built an encounter for this situation. I fully expected them to attack Scalesvale. This is the moment where your party rolls a 2 on an encounter set. Low numbers are usually bad. High numbers are usually good. Sometimes there's a little flux, but this is definitely a low number bad situation. And I have to think to myself, what's like one of the worst things that you could run into that's native to the area, you know, not just like a dragon appears out of nowhere. Like, what's a pretty bad thing that you could run into going back home? And we take into account the caravan they ran into last week, which had gone back to Scalesvale and had reported seeing something unusual. And we take into account anything that might have been coming from Cork, like what if something is coming from Cork that catches up to the party from behind? We take into account the natural monsters of the area. Maybe it's spiders. Again, more spiders. But, you know, spiders don't really feel like a 2 unless there's some sort of like ultra giga spider. And I don't have like an ultra cool giga spider ready. And when I have researched spiders to, you know, set them up for this area, there weren't any like cool plug and play ultra spiders that you could just drop into something. It could be Magna, Queen of Bandits, or some of her minions. But this is sort of Cassius's thing. It's Cassius's road. And so the obvious answer is that the party that they had crossed paths with had gotten back to Scalesvale and said, we saw something suspicious on the road. And someone has been sent to figure out what it is. Go and reinforce Cork. Go check out what's happening here. You know, we don't want our trade routes to be fucked with. But, you know, just having some scouts come check it out doesn't feel like a 2. You know what a 2 feels like? A 2 feels like hard fight, like really hard fight. It's not a 1, but it's a 2. So let's put a big ass boss unit in it and have a bunch of minions. And if it was a 1, you know, we probably have more minions in the same boss unit. And so we use our plug and play minions that we have, our default minion tokens. Some of them are archers, some of our melee characters. We have those bodyguard tokens that we use, that stat block that we had used for Flicker Red Scale, which I like that stat block. It's a custom one, but you get like 2 attacks with the quarterstaff, or you can make 2 knockdown attempts. And as bodyguard units trying to just like keep people in their place or keep them from moving around a lot, you know, disabling their motion, knocking them down so people can get advantage on attacks. Love it. And so that's what we do. So we're walking through the desert, or the canyon system, which is pretty dry over here. And what's the conversation like? And what's the marching order like in this barren wasteland?
Me first.
The marching order is important. It's very important. We check in every now and then. Cassian calls me first. Love it. Canyon.
Me.
Not the guy on the horse?
No.
I'm hanging out with
on my
Plax.
shoulder, by the way.
Yep.
I'm hanging out with.
He's hanging out with Plax. That puts him in the rear. He's in the front. These two are now in the middle. Vika on a shoulder. We changed the music to like dusty, sort of foreboding, windswept desert
Plax admits
sounds.
at the back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like in the middle.
Okay. Cool. Well, Mr. Mooten, you're in the front.
That's right.
Give me greatest perception check of your life. Now, I didn't roll a stealth check for the enemy. I just kind of going off of like some cuffs, some big ideas. It's 2 different groups of people. One group has a horse and a donkey and some wagons. So like those horse steps and the wagon is making some noise, which is both alerting anyone that might be coming to the wagon and the horses. Also making some extra noise so the people who are going with the wagon and the horses might not be able to hear other people come so well. So I kind of off the top of my head be like, well, maybe DC 14, 15, they'll notice you first, or you'll notice them. You'll get like the drop on them, something like that. But probably you're just going to run into each other at random. And I've picked a map, not because I thought the geometry of that map was particularly good or bad. Just I kind of picked a battle map at random. It's pretty good. I'll talk
I
more
wanna
about
say
the
that
battle
I
map
do
selection when we get there.
Learn from my previous spider bullshit, and I'm looking up a little bit. Every once in a while, I'm checking up the top of the canyons.
I've got 14 passive perception as well, so I'm always aware.
Yeah, but he's in
Wise,
the
you might
back.
say.
He's with
Yeah.
the wagon and the donkey, and he's
it
hanging out with
is
the
as you're looking
with
up
plaques
because
and mitts.
gotta look up in case there's a spider. That you come round a corner and the two groups come face to face with one another, sort of by surprise. And I don't think anybody quite recognizes.
So this map, I wonder if there's a spot where we get a good zoom out of it. Not really. This is better. It's slightly better. We can see that we've got an approaching column. We've got a hero here. This is Cassius silver bars. And we've got 2 melee minions in the front, 2 melee minions in the back, 4 archers near the rear, and then 4 bodyguards surrounding Cassius. And everyone's sort of spaced out. I think it's weird. People shouldn't probably be right adjacent to each other. If you go on hikes with folks, you're often 10, 15 feet apart from the person in front of you. You've got some leeway. On a long walk, a column tends to spread out a little bit. And so we space these guys fairly far apart to make a reasonable marching column. With melees in front and back, archers somewhere in the middle, and, a bunch of guys around Cassius. This map right here I picked because it had somewhat of an angle where someone could come from one angle, another person could come from another angle, and spot each other as they go around the corner. I picked a corner encounter situation rather than just we've both come out of flat areas so that we can see each other, and there's a huge open gap, a long hallway between us, just because I didn't want to have to find we're doing this on the fly. Battle map selection is pretty limited. I don't have a tileable series of battle maps with these canyons where you could just stack 6 or 7 or 9 in a big area and then sort of arrange people in the middle with long spaces. For my forest battle maps, they are tileable and you can kind of place them along nearby, and you can make really, really big maps and put the party in the middle so that there's room to maneuver and run around. This is just I think it's 30 by 30. It might be 29 by 29 battle map. And so we need the encounter to happen somewhere near the middle of the map. That way, if people move, there's places to go. We don't want, if the party starts at the top and the bottom of the map and they decide to disengage or do any movement that's not towards each other, all of a sudden we run out of map space for people to go. And since we are limited in our map selection, I picked one that would make a really good, the two parties meet in the middle. And now if they need to move a little bit, there's maneuverability room. And so that's how we decided the distance at which the party should be fighting. It was purely based on the available tools and the needs of the moment. If I did have, a huge canyon map, I might have done it a little bit differently. I might have rolled a die to do you fight very far apart or do you fight very close together? Fifth edition also is a, everyone should be close together style of system. You move at most 60 feet in a round. And so if you start really far apart, you're giving a huge advantage to archers who can just pepper you with a bajillion arrows before you can close. And so the nature of the game system helps with close fights. And in a twisting, winding canyon system, it's not unreasonable that 2 people might come round a corner roughly at the same time. And so that is why this map is set up like this. It's their party line, and there's a bit of a half heartbeat of silence before this person points a finger in your direction and goes, "That must be them." Clearly, this is Cassius. Clearly, they've been informed that something is happening on this road. He doesn't call them up by name. He doesn't know who they are, which tells us some things, but he knows that there are troublemakers on the road. He's gotten a description of these troublemakers, or these people of interest at least, and so he calls them out.
Roy looks behind himself.
You there! He points his this is a dwarf, and he points his huge hammer in your direction.
I start walking up. I start walking forward to the front of the line.
Lay down your weapons. Actually, it's a great axe. Lay down your weapons right now.
I want to say,
Who are you? And no?
That's just silver bars. He's not the sort of person who takes no easily. He's not the sort of person who's gonna hang around and negotiate with some jackasses on the road, his road to his city, when he thinks these people might be problematic. You know, there's not a need to have a conversation. Now, if the party had said, we'll lay down our weapons when you lay down your weapons, let us know who you are. If the party had taken a diplomatic stance, not that Cassius has taken a diplomatic stance, Cassius has taken a very aggressive, you lay down your weapons right now, I'm the big dick of the area. And if the party had, you know, been like, well, let's have a chat, let's be reasonable, let's talk this through, there might have been room for options. But Vasher says,
I want to say,
Who are you? And no?
and if you think you're the great merchant and this is your road to your city and you're the hot shit, and on your road to your city, someone who you think might be a troublemaker is like, who the fuck are you? I'm not laying down my weapons, which is essentially what Vasher says. You know, you might not take that very well. Also, with that gladiator background, and he's a violent person, this Cassius Silverbars. I am Cassius Silverbars. These are my lands.
Oh shit.
I want to say we mean no harm in Dwarvish.
Which is adorable and maybe a little insulting. Cassius is clearly talking in the common tongue, and Roy's like, hi, I speak Dwarvish, I'm so cool, which is funny and cute and wonderful.
I mean, we were...
Is there any reaction to him of his to me speaking Dwarvish?
Give me a charisma check. Just click on the charisma text on your character sheet.
Yes. 1 second.
You know, all too often, players will roll a saving throw. Whoops, sorry. A saving throw instead of a regular check. And unless you're trained in your saving throw, it's actually the same exact roll. So it doesn't really matter. And I know that Roy's not trained in charisma. We can see that he's got like a +1 to the roll right down there. And if he were trained, he'd have at least a +2. It doesn't really matter in this situation. Well, it's a charisma save instead of a charisma check, but it's close enough for our purposes. Yeah. He will reply in Dwarven, lay down your arms or die like dogs. Cassius is not a nice man. He's a wee bit violent, and he's threatening our players. Now, I don't expect the players to necessarily be like, okay, I'll throw them down. But we did run into a situation like this once before. And I want to say the second session, the party ran into some bandits who were like, lay down your arms or die. And the party, someone laid down their arms, some other people didn't. And then it immediately got into a fight. And we've seen this aggressive stance from the local inhabitants before, that when they tell you to lay down your arms, that's their signal that they're ready to fight.
I will translate this to the party.
I look over my shoulder to Vasher to gauge his reaction here. Like, is it? I give you a look that says, "Is it fucking go time?"
Vasher is standing his ground. He's
a real American.
Not making immediate moves to action. Well,
get him!
Are you
he
sure?
cries.
Okay.
I cast the spell.
No, we're all rolling initiative.
Fuck! Damn it! Fuck.
Well, it was a good game. Now, I say it was a good game. I don't know how the battle's going to turn out yet, but I know it's not necessarily gonna be an easy one. I know it's a hard battle. I put together a hard encounter. We gave not Vash, we gave Cassius, 4 bodyguards who are maybe CR1. I can't remember, maybe CR1 half. And then we gave him a small escort. If we had rolled a 1 on the encounter check, I probably would have doubled the number of minions. We would have had 8 melee minions and 8 missile minions and maybe a wagon with some other supplies. But since we rolled a 2, it's like Cassius is coming on his own and he's just taking a quick party with him. And that sort of does save the party a little bit here. But even knowing what we're up against, it's going to be a tough battle. And one of the things you do as a DM is if you think the battle might not go very well for the players, you telegraph your fears. You get the party ready for death. You never want the party to be in a situation where they think it's going to be easy and then they just get wiped randomly. You always want to be like, oh, this is going to be tough. You want to get the party like in the mindset of like, we might actually lose this fight when they're coming into a fight that they might actually lose. If you do that for all the fights, it quickly becomes unimportant. But you should bring it up as you get to things that could be really serious.
Fuck.
Well, it was a good game.
Shouldn't have hesitated. Fuck off, Neal.
Fine, we said
This
it
is
was
not
gonna be
over.
10 anyways.
Yeah, we're gonna fuck these guys up.
And they might.
Bullshit.
But look at these rolls. Look at these initiative rolls from the party. Crap, decent. But the enemy has rolled really well.
Hold on, I didn't click my token, but I'll read it.
Fuck.
Vasher's thinking.
But he gets the
basically
4.
in the
This is
2
just
seconds before combat about whether or not he should
and
drop his weapon.
the roll to get his token in the order.
No, fuck it. He's not dropping his weapon to a slaver. He's in. He hesitated for a moment because he wasn't unsure about keeping the party alive.
Oh, so our party 4, 13, 0, 5. Party gets bad initiative rolls. We're going to.
Let's fucking go.
This track is called
God, I'm
Sand
moving so late. I'm
something.
fucked.
You're at the back. You'll be alright.
I should have been way at the back.
Hey, Mitz's health bar has changed color, and I'm not cool with that.
Yes, I will change him to an ally.
Oh, good.
Oh, I don't think Mitz is going to help us in this one, boys. His hero's here.
Sand Raiders, I think, is the name of this track. Okay.
They only have 10. Hey, we got that. We're fine.
Maybe it might not be.
The
Who
very
knows?
first person up is one of these minions, who will just take a step to the side.
So this is a tough battle. We're actually gonna go through this battle fairly closely.
And 55 feet.
You can't see
He's
it.
gonna take a
'cause
shot.
It's hard to
at
show the battle map,
Cassian.
but there's that collection of 4 archers up here, and they can all arrange themselves
Technically within
to take
5
shots.
feet of him with my horse.
No.
Somehow his horse token got placed. It's a 2x2, but somehow it got placed in the middle of this thing. So is he next to this guy close enough to intercept? He's actually in a weird spot, but since his core token is that far away, I decided not to. I don't know why his horse got put in this weird spot. Actually, this one's also in a weird spot. These guys are sort of in a weird spot. I don't know what's going on. We could say that maybe he was a little bit closer or a little bit further back. It's just an awkward moment, and it's better to have a ruling. And the off the cuff ruling is no, you're not close enough.
You are just too far, unfortunately. Minimum damage, though.
2 damage,
Thank
yeah.
you.
He wouldn't even want to
Yes.
use the ability there.
Will move and dash here.
Shit.
Mitz. So why is Mitz joining in the fray against this overwhelming force? Well, we're showing you that minions are here. You can buy them. Their loyalty isn't always going to be perfect. Their trustworthiness isn't always perfect. But when you have a minion on your side, they will fight with you up until the point that they fear that they're not going to make it out very well. And so I want to underscore that, if you get yourself some minions, they're legit. They will help you. They will join you in your battles. They're not going to run at the first sign of danger. I want to both as like a carrot for the party to get minions, and also as a reminder that like the enemy minions are gonna fight you even if it's not looking great, as long as their hero is also in the battle. This is there are a lot of reasons to reinforce Mitz joining the fray here.
Well, we don't know what he's doing yet.
Cassius Silver Bars.
Dwarf Omegalol.
Yes, he's
Wait,
a
he's not
dwarf.
25.
How much movement does he have, Neal?
He's got
I take
20
5 steps
movement.
back.
Dwarf. Walk away from him.
That's why my initiative is so low. Because I'm
You guys hear this laughter?
just fucking laughing as he starts running towards us.
They're laughing at Cassius Silver Bars. That laughter.
I want to.
Is not gonna last.
I chuckle at him as he runs towards me. 15.
Fucking
A
based.
hearty laugh. He's humiliated.
Comes the dwarf as he strides forward.
Isn't
I
this the
will.
champion
I'll
of the
also
arena?
say.
Now, our dwarf could move and dash and close with the party, or he could just move. And so we have him move and ready in action. That way, if the party gets close, he can start to fuck him up. The other reason we're not having the dwarf engage all the way forward is there's a lot of characters on the map, and there's a thing I left in the Reddit thread that good characters defend their people, evil characters have their people defend them. And so we're gonna show that, you know, this gladiator dwarf is going to let his minions be in the front line and gauge the situation and take the first round of blows. He could get to the party. He's opting not to. And one, it's a trait of the character to kind of show off he's willing to let his own people die for him. And the other thing is that there's a lot of minions, and a lot of minions take a lot of time and a lot of rolls and a lot of bullshit. And it'd be nice if we could start off the battle and have the party like clear some of the minions off the field. You know, it's nice if you can have a whole bunch of creatures and then the party can like cut through all the little ones first. And that way the rounds get faster and faster and faster, rather than like, well, we're fighting the big guy, but here's like 15 minutes of minion fighting. So conveniently, the desire to make Cassius look like a bad guy coincides with our wants to get rid of some minions. And so he only comes to about here. Ready's in action.
This is an arena, boy.
I don't say he readies in action, but he does.
You can't catch me in an open field.
It's a good question. Do you declare that your enemy has readied in action? Do people know that his action has been readied, or do they just know that he's only taken a move action? Can you see a readied attack? I don't know. But I think it's clear enough, you know, that he would have one. He only takes a partial move. He's got weapons in hands. He's probably ready to attack. The next archer will take a shot at you as you mock their leader. 13. Are you all wearing armor?
Do I need to roll?
Oh wait, yeah, only one of us.
The all-important armor roll. Cassius is wearing actual full-fledged armor in this canyon system. We don't address why it is that Cassius is wearing armor here when other people aren't. The party actually only has one suit of armor between the whole party at this point. And so who's wearing the suit of armor with the party is just a random roll. But in this canyon, you know, we're kind of away from more of the heat. There's a little bit more shade down here. You got slightly higher winds. The canyon connects like the desert with this other river valley. And so it's a little cooler area. If the party all had suits of armor at this point in time, I would have told them that they could all be wearing armor. But since there's only one suit of armor in the party, we don't bother stopping the combat encounter to talk about the heat of the area and who can wear armor and who can't wear armor, because they only have the one suit, so you have to roll for it anyway. So like, let's not get into those details and worry about it. It makes sense, but it has no impact in the situation. So like, just roll your dice.
Either at 11 or 13, so we should roll for it.
Yeah.
We rolled last time. I think it was Vasher.
Yeah, but you change every few hours, right? Because it's
1d3?
hot.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. No, but you're also, if they had gone to the fight in Cork, the ogre magi there wears armor all the time. I mean, probably not when sleeping, but the rest of the time, the ogre magi there wears armor. And I think the archers on the wall have studded leather that they wear all the time too. Don't think the giants, the regular giants, have any armor of any kind, but if they had gone to Cork, they would have seen that it's right on the river. It's a different, temperature zone. There's more armor available there. It's really up and down along the Great Valley in the desert and the Badlands where armor is problematic. Which is also kind of weird because as soon as the party gets through the Badlands to the plain, to the swamp to the north and the plains to the north and the forest to the north, armor is not going to be a problem anymore. Like if you have armor, you're going to be able to wear it all day long. It's just when you're in the ultra hot areas. And so our party is going to need armor for what is to come. You're out of the desert in the canyon. It's still roll. You only have the one set of armor anyway, so highest has it.
Come on, Nick, please. I need it.
We can also.
Oh,
Okay,
Roll off.
Okay.
Oh,
Nice.
Let's go. I
All
still get hit, though.
right. You are wearing your armor, but a 13 still hits you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that means you'll take 6 points. Steermir's AC is 11. And the first minion will close over here against Mitz and go, "You traitor!" and club him with a 17 to hit, hitting Mitz for 4.
Myths, no.
The next bandit is just going to take another shot at Cassius, or not Cassius, Cassian, and ping you for another 5. These archers are doing well.
these are
It's not
fuckers,
high
man.
damage, but they're good attack rolls.
First of the bodyguards will move 30 to you and is going to shove you. DC 20 acrobatics or athletics check to stay standing.
Now
you
here
are
he
knocked
rolls
down.
acrobatics instead of athletics.
Is your acrobatics really higher than your athletics?
Oh, sorry, I clicked the wrong one. Can I?
I call it out in his favor because I see it right away. And this is one of those situations where the player has a choice of doing one or the other, and he picked the suboptimal one for no particular reason other than a mistake. But he rolled those dice, so we should sort of accept the roll. On the other hand, we can also just accept the die roll, which in this case you can see is a 19 minus 3 would be 16, and then apply the modifier of the ability he intended to use, because how are we really gonna, ding someone for clicking one thing that is 2 lines below another one when they're sort of, it seems like a weird thing to do. Or I could have just ignored it. But because I know this is a scary battle, and I don't want to have an important roll happen and someone get knocked down, and then a minute later someone in chat be like, "He should have rolled athletics," and then have the party stop and have the party go back and be like, "Whoops, I misclicked that thing. Can we retcon this thing that would have happened this other?" I don't want to bother dealing with the retcons. I don't want to bother dealing with any of that stuff. He obviously should be doing an athletics roll. It's going to be a tough fight. Let's give the party all the tools that they should have, and let's make sure they're using all their tools. And that way, when they all die, they don't feel like they died because they made a mistake on which die they rolled. If we're just fighting a couple of spiders, I would probably be like, "Well, you rolled acrobatics, just keep the acrobatics roll, whatever." You might take a little extra damage. You might be slightly more wounded going into your next fight because you failed something, but it's not going to make or break the game. But remember to pay attention to what you're doing next time. A little punitive, not quite punitive, but you make a mistake, you feel some consequences from your mistake. Hopefully you won't make the mistake the next time around. This is not the time to enforce that sort of mentality. This is the time to let the party make sure the party does everything right off the top.
I have my
You can keep your
acrobatics.
16. Yeah, I thought you were going to roll an athletics.
I have a +5. Thank you.
Oh, nice.
I passed.
All right,
Thank
so you pass by 1.
It's always hard to stabilize the combat music
Then they will
and see how
as
loud
the
it should be.
multi-attack says, make a second shove. Aha! A 22.
Fucking hell.
Yes. You are knocked prone. Here's my prone token. Huzzah.
An interesting thing about these bodyguards that are shoving, you can see I guess you can't see here. Roll 20. You can see from their AC 10 that they're not wearing armor and that they don't have high dex. So that means that they are high strength characters, or high. Their strength is higher than their dex. And I wanted a token that looked like a bodyguard that had a staff, because I want them to be using staffs to like knock people down, knock people over. Ended up with this bodyguard token here, which looks like a monk or some sort of dex-based fighter, but is actually a strength-based fighter. They have 15 strength and they're trained in athletics, so they have a +4 on their athletics roll, which is pretty good. And I kind of ever so slightly regret making them look a little bit more dex-based. I don't think I had a more appropriate strength-based token. It doesn't really matter in this situation what the token looks like, but they do have low AC. Why was I bringing this up? I had a reason. Oh, only that I feel like a token should be a physical representation of the character. And so if you're a strength-based character, you should look like a strength-based character. And if you're a dex-based character, you should look like a dex-based character. And it might be a little misleading to see like, here, look at this nimble person. But like, actually, they're not that nimble. They're just average nimbleness, and they're actually kind of strong. So maybe like a hulking dude with like a staff would have been better to show that he's just gonna like come around and shove you over. And when the bodyguards are rolling 20s and 22s on their shoves, but they look kind of, light and nimble. Next bodyguard. It's not quite the right vibe. Is gonna come over here. We make use of the tools we have. Movement and Roy Waystar.
Okay, remind me again, does Vika move before or after me?
Right before you. Like, this is Vika's turn. So another interesting thing to bring up, the party rolled poorly on initiative, but because the two sides were kind of far apart, it actually works to the party's advantage a little bit, because imagine if Steermere had moved forward, this bodyguard would have been able to move and strike him, or if Cassian had moved forward earlier, then Cassius would have been able to move and strike him. Because the party goes second, the enemy, much of the enemy is going to spend its turn closing with the party, and then the party gets to spend their turn already closed with the enemy and making their full complement of attacks. Now, the same's not true for spellcasters. If the spellcasters had gone first, they could then cast a spell and hold their ground and let the enemy move to them. But I'm just saying that them losing initiative might have actually been a good thing. Imagine if Cassian had run forward and then immediately been subject to 3 attacks by Cassius.
Okay. Vika will stay on my shoulder for now. I will move to cover.
Good, Roy. Very good.
I can make this, yeah. With Vika. Well, yes. Yeah, no, this is correct. Okay.
Now, Vika's on his shoulder. Where do you place the Vika token when it's sitting on his shoulder? If it sits on his token, it's hard to see his token and Vika and to select things. If it's off to one side, then it's not quite in the right position. Positioning Vika when it's carried on him is always tough.
And then as a bonus action, I will cast a Dragon's Breath on Vika.
Okay.
Which allows it to spit fire. And I believe since Vika goes before me, that is my turn.
Yep. That is a move. Dragon's Breath is a bonus action, right?
Oh wait, yeah. I can still cast a Firebolt.
Yeah.
Upon
And
who?
I should have a clean shot at this guy. No?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's fucking go.
Seems like a clean
Easy
shot. Great hit.
For 9 damage.
Great damage.
Go.
Guy's soon to die.
Almost killing, but not quite. Excellent. Whoops, I skipped a bandit minion. This one right
Did Mitz
here.
not ready an attack, Koibu?
Mitz had to dash to get there, unfortunately.
Okay.
You can see our archers up here. They were spaced, with one square in between them, and they've since been like moving into this position. I think this one moved here to take a shot, then this one moved here to take a shot, and then this one who was here moved here to take a shot. And if this guy goes next, then he would move here to take a shot. And the archers can line up and can shoot these people, and I'm moving them to positions where it's obvious that they have a clear shot, and they might have to like move forward, or maybe they take a shot and then move back to the side. However it's going to be, the archers are not going to have a problem shooting down this pathway towards him. But remember, if you have lines of people in front of you, for example, if Cassian were here in front of this bodyguard, then these guys would have a -2 to hit Cassian because he'd be behind half cover. Bandit will come over here and take another shot at Cassian, which is actually why this bandit moved to this square instead of this square right here, is to keep this line of attack open for the archers. Cassian, this is a miss. Whoosh. And the next bodyguard will come. Actually, that would have been a terrible idea. Since you're prone, they would have had disadvantage, but it's too late. The dice have rolled. This one
I did
will
forget
come
that
on
he was
over.
prone
You're
and they have
prone.
disadvantage
She
on
has
attacks.
advantage on attacks against proned people, and will quarterstaff you. Oh, with an 8, and quarterstaff you with a 19
Hit.
for 5.
Oh,
And the first minion goes here, and the second minion goes here. And they both have ready attacks.
By action surge, do I get a bonus
Vasher.
action again?
No, you just get the action.
All right.
Yeah.
Vasher on his
So
horse.
Vasher is watching the eruption.
He's in
of
a tough
violence,
spot.
and
He's got
he
some
is
awkward
considering his
positioning.
options in terms
Um,
of where he could go and who he could attack and what he could do.
and his choice of
He really would like
movement
to get over to maybe some of these archers.
is a weird one.
But
tough
I
one.
think he's going to.
I mean, it's hard to say. Like, he's got the most HP. He doesn't have the highest AC. But he does have the most HP, and he's got some protective ability. So it sort of makes sense for him to be in the very, very front. On the other hand, if he goes to where he's planning on going, this collection of 4 squares, he's going to be flanked, right? He's going to put himself surrounded, giving his enemies attack advantage on attacks against him. So
There's a way I can get around
I don't know if that's a great spot.
without taking. Well,
the
if
one
I
he's gonna
skirt
go
around
to.
This person, I won't take an attack of opportunity, would I? Because
Yeah,
I'd
you
still
would.
be in their zone.
Correct. Yeah, you could get there. And you would essentially come here, here, here. Yeah, perfect. We're gonna
So I'm a,
take your horse off of this weird angle it's on. That's kind of screwing with our positioning.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
with life harder.
It's so much harder with the horse. All right, you come around this bodyguard, never leaving her a threatening square, never provoking attack of opportunity.
So it just takes movement for him to stand back up, right?
Yes, half
No,
of his
never
movement.
mind.
Right. I am going to bonus action cast Divine Favor.
Great.
Doo-doo.
Get a good spell in
This
here.
Is
Extra D4 damage on a hit.
concentration
Love
for 1
it.
minute. Your prayer empowers you with divine favor. Until the spell ends, your weapon attacks deal an extra 1d4 radiant damage. So
Okay.
I am on a horse and they are not, so I do have advantage on this attack, and I will be attacking this.
On the top right,
What? Yes.
Okay. bring your
And-
weapon to bear.
It will be a longsword attack. Oh, I'll roll it twice. 16.
Hits.
Great attack here,
for
Vasher.
1d
Well
this,
done.
and Plus,
Plus the D4. Ooh, minimum damage plus. Oh, absolute minimum.
Man.
You
that's devastating.
wildly.
Look how little that
inconvenience
HP bar
the
moved.
Bodyguard before you.
We've got 32
And
HP, so this is
Cassian
what, 5
knocked
damage?
Down, shot
It's
full
like
of
less than a
arrows,
sixth of its HP bar.
Gets to his feet.
Stand up. I'm gonna use a bonus action for my fighting spirit. That's gonna give me advantage this entire turn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to Great Weapon Master attack. So I'm taking my,
So he
things.
takes -5 to hit to get +10 to damage. A great option against these low AC targets. Now, looking at Cassian's attack roll, he's got a proficiency bonus of 2, a strength bonus of 3. So when he attacks, he's rolling at +5. And so when he attacks with Great Weapon Master, he's rolling at +0, which means he's literally got a 50-50 chance of hitting these people. With advantage, I think that comes up to like a 66% chance of hitting these people.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
But luck is not on his side
He does
today.
miss.
Okay. Gonna action surge.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna do it again. Here you go.
Ah,
Natural
nice.
20.
there we go.
It's gonna be 19 plus 9 damage.
28.
28 damage is 1 HP more than she has.
Good.
And she
That's
drops
gonna give
to
me
the
another
ground.
attack. I get another attack because of my Great Weapon Master.
It's a bonus
So you
action.
can take it
It's
as
a
a
bonus
bonus
action
action.
attack.
And he already bonus
which
actioned
you
Fighting
had
Spirit.
to use for your Fighting
Will get
Spirit.
my 5 temporary hit points.
Aye.
And
You have 15 feet of movement if you'd like it. But it would provoke an attack of opportunity.
If you stay adjacent to me, I can use interception tactics on you.
that's true. Yeah. Okay. So I did 1 attack. I've done 2 attacks. Done my action surge. I think that's it for me, folks.
Okay.
That's my turn.
The next bodyguard is gonna come on over, and she's gonna pop in right here. Now, this is a poor strategic move. The bodyguards have pack tactics, and so this bodyguard is always gonna have advantage against Vasher. So it actually would have been smarter for her to come on Vasher's backside so Cassius could take this place. But in the moment, I was thinking flanking needed, forgot the bodyguards had pack tactics. I made a bad move. She is flanking Vasher across the horse. And
Made a boo-boo.
will,
It happens. Lots of mistakes get
just
made.
attack you.
And
she
they
also has
usually
pack
wash out.
Cool. So she's got.
You know, I
advantage
make mistakes
this
on
attack
behalf of the
against you,
players
Vasher.
and behalf on the enemies. So
17
17
is a
hits.
hit for 3, and she got 2 attacks. Second one is a 19 for 7. You'll take a total of 10. And the last minion will scurry
Vasher.
to, I guess, just to here. And he doesn't have flanking. He would have to be flanking with Steermere to do it. So instead, I mentioned this just to, the flanking rules are sometimes confusing, and this sort of feel like opposite sides. This minion here and this bodyguard here sort of feel like opposite sides. And so I'm just calling out exactly how flanking works whenever it shows up, just to reinforce into our players' heads what it is if they're paying attention. He just comes on over and takes his little club and tries to club you on the booty with a 10, which is a miss. Steermere.
Yes. Do I con save for concentration? What do I roll?
Yes, you do.
I'd forgotten about
just a
those con
Constitution
saves.
saving throw. DC 10.
Boom.
And you need
Save.
2 because you got hit twice. Ooh.
All right, my spell ends.
Ah.
Fuck.
Come on.
The
Okay.
extra
Big one
D4
here,
damage
Nick.
wasn't that big of
Yeah,
a
I
deal.
think
It's
if I
nice to
cast
have, but it's
Shatter
not going to
at
break
this
the
specific
game.
Point between,
Now, do we
between
get
these two
to
guys.
move the
It's
map
10 feet
to
radius.
see
I think I can.
space between squares? Now we got to. Right. So what's happening here is that he wants to place the shatter in this corner where the squares meet, because 5, 10, 15 up to here, it would, sort of hit everyone. That's like saying you've got your lightning bolt and you can run it down this middle path to hit all 3, or you can run it down the path between these people to hit 4. When you have a combat system that really is dependent on 5-foot squares and a grid-based battle map system, you can sneak some extra power by putting things like in between areas, but it's a little problematic and it's a little game breaking. And it's not such a big deal if there's like an equal number of spellcasters on each side, and then like the DM can also use that, and then it's fine. Then it doesn't really matter. But if the DM side, generally speaking, or the player side, generally speaking, has more spellcasters who can then bend this rule so they get a greater advantage, it does become a little problematic. And so this game in particular, this Lazarus expedition in particular, I've been really trying to stick on centering these things in the middle of squares, just so that all the math works out really easily. Math, if 30 to go. Excellent.
Okay. So I cast
And he's
Shatter,
going to
I
kill
use my,
5 people anyway, and it's not like
channel
this
ability
last
to do
minion's
max
going to make a
damage, so I do
difference, right?
24 damage
It's good to wipe the
save
map of
on
as
this.
many minions as possible.
Yes, and
It's a
the
con
second-
but killing
Dex
5 or
save.
6 minions, like, you're
con
still
save,
doing a
DC
great
14.
job. Okay, they all have +1 on their cons, so they need a 13 or higher. There are 5 of them, so
We're gonna skip ahead because they all die,
Yeah,
even if on a
Wouldn't let you
save.
have it.
it's alright. It's good job I saved my spell slot, so.
good. You're good.
He even tried to
Just
give you a-
barely.
Just-
That's you got to make you earn it, okay?
yeah,
Miss.
that's fine.
All right,
Mitch, the
Steermere, what
level
about
20 fighter, randomly.
Well, Steermere, do you have any do you have any movement? Any bonus actions?
Bonus actions? What are they? No, I don't think
Excellent.
so.
Yeah.
All right.
He doesn't want to take the movement, else he'll take an opportunity attack,
Wounded. Just
which-
a smidge.
is a problem later in life. He needs a morale check.
No.
He's just a minion.
No.
He's just a
No
minion.
way.
Your
He
enemies
didn't-
make
he
morale
didn't
checks.
witness.
Okay, wait, but he's just
the most fair thing.
there's just been a
Come
huge
on.
explosion.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you. This
And
is
the
so
rest of
fair.
the-
Minions almost always make morale checks when they're injured, especially this guy. He took what, 5 out of his 11 or 4 out of his 11. He's at basically half hit points. Obviously, he's going to make a morale check here.
You're right.
Shattering.
Beyond
In all
he gets
directions.
hit, and then there's a loud boom. Maybe he's afraid. Maybe he's
Okay,
empowered.
but I would just like
Oh
to
yeah, he
paint the scene of-
passes. He's
paint
in
the
it.
scene of the battlefield here. Everyone is now covered in the viscera of these people that have been torn apart from the
Yes.
insides. Like
Or-
the backs of all of these guys, they look over their shoulder, they see their entire back line eviscerated.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Painting the
absolutely
scene
what's
for you
going on here. And Mitz is a pro. Mitz is a proper minion, so he's gonna do what a proper minion does, and that's just fight the person directly in front of him without any regard for grand tactics or strategy.
Yes.
And he
Yeah.
will.
That's exactly how minions work. I want to reinforce that. I want to reinforce that if Mitz is just an ordinary minion, he's not some great fighter. He's going to behave just like the enemy's minions.
Club the person before him and miss.
Fucking hell,
Cassius. Cassius will go. Thud. Whoops. Thud. 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 He takes all of his movement to come around the line, and he looks up at the paladin. You there. You must be the one in charge. I'm
I
gonna
have the high
bring you
ground,
down
Cassius.
to my level. And he'll make
gonna fuck your horse
3
up.
melee attacks against you with his
God.
great axe.
Oh shit.
Now, this is the moment. No, not yet.
Against him or the horse?
15 against you.
That's a
Can you
hit.
really hit him?
Yeah, he's got a great axe.
Oh, okay.
I should have
15
high ground.
damage. Second attack. 13
Oh, God.
for 25
Oh,
damage.
Jesus fuck.
So this right here is the moment to start pulling punches. Because Vasher's down. He's unconscious. Cassius could just move on. He could go to another target, but he used all of his movement, so he can't get anywhere else. And he's got 1 extra attack. And these people are clearly fighting him, and they did just shatter all of his minions. And this is the Age of Heroes, where you gotta make sure the people you put down stay down, you know? So we don't pull any punches here at Regal Goblins Incorporated, okay? Actually, we're not even incorporated. We're just Regal. We don't pull our punches. We've given the party the tools at their disposal. And so we have Cassius go ahead and make his 3rd attack.
You fall off the horse.
What the fuck?
Against him.
And then he'll take his 3rd attack.
Wait.
Now, the horse is valuable.
I considered for a moment, do you kill the horse? That was my first thought. My immediate thought was, well, let's not attack Vasher on the ground. Let's just attack the horse. And then my very next thought was like, this is a great war horse. We've talked about how wonderful this war horse is. There's no way the merchant guy is going to just murder a war horse who he could capture and have as a prize. No, he's just going to get rid of this leader unit. But 43 HP, like, that's a lot of hit points. And we've seen that Cassius can do 15 or 25. He's got a great axe, which does D12. And he's probably got like +4 to damage on his attack roll. If I look it up right now. Yeah, he does 2d12 +4. So that's an average of 13 and 4. That's an average of 17 damage on a hit. So he's not likely to do 43. In fact, even if he did max damage, that'd be 24 and 4 is 28. And then we remember,
He wants to keep the horse.
well,
so let's take his 3rd attack against your body on the ground.
Fucking brutal.
Which will hit you
21's actually a lot. 21 minus 4 is 17. 17 on a d12 is what? An 8 and a 9 on d12? That's pretty good. 21, it won't kill you, but you will fail a death saving throw. And then we remember.
Yes, you take
I
2
think
death
so.
saves.
Because it's an automatic crit,
technically,
right?
yeah.
And that's where I realize real danger we're in. Because 21 is a good roll on 2d12. And 21 is, well, 43. 21 is less than half of that. And it's already got the +4 in there. So, like, I realize that he takes critical damage. And I know that we should roll it because in theory it's possible for him to be killed in it. But at the same time, he would need to do 22 damage on 2d12 to kill Vasher. And that's a 10 and a 12 or 2 11s, which is 3 throws out of 144, right? Well, no, because it could be an 11 and 12. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8 out of 144, I think. I didn't do the math at the time, but it's about a 5% chance of this next blow being lethal. And I don't know the exact numbers in the moment, but I know that it's unlikely to happen. And it's so unlikely to happen that we could say, oh, well, you know, he does do critical damage, but there's no way he'd actually overkill you, so let's not bother rolling it. You take 2 failed death saves and moved on. But it's nice to roll the dice because, you know, every now and then it does happen. And it's nice that to show off that you've got nothing to hide and that you're doing everything in the open, and we roll the dice. Yeah.
Jesus. Guys, consider surrendering.
Fuck off.
If attack successful, it's an automatic crit. I guess we should technically roll another 2d12 in there to see if it does bring you to negative 43. So 2d12, 22,
Oh,
43,
my God.
exactly.
Oh my god, what?
He brings his axe
No.
up and cuts Vasher's head off. Wait. When we see that it totals his HP, we don't hesitate. We know the player character is dead. We know the rules. We call it right away. Now, it's better to say he kills you and then have a player be like, wait a minute, here's a rule that you forgot. Oh, okay, cool, he doesn't kill you. Then to say, oh, is that really how it happened? Oh, I'm not sure. And even though I'm not really rooting for Vasher to die here, I'm also not going to try and save his life. The players are going to save his life. They'll find out a way to save his life. But you don't want to pussyfoot around a player's death. You don't want to like hem and haw and, ooh, maybe, maybe not. Is there any way out of this? Oh, no, I guess you die. You don't want to, like, you're going to kill someone. Give them a good death. You know? Don't apologize for it.
What? Do I have to wait? Do I have to be 1 more than my HP?
Now, this comes up because we forgot that earlier in the campaign when Roy got down to exactly his negative HP, I actually thought the rule was you had to go below your max HP. If your HP is 43, I thought you had to get to negative 44. And so Roy lived in a moment where he probably should have died. That's why Vasher is bringing this up.
Or exactly my HP?
Look it
This
up.
matters.
Someone look it up, because it's exactly on the spot.
I sort of feel like maybe a precedent's been set though.
It's a good point. It's a good point. We did set the precedent accidentally that you need to be overkilled by 1, you know, negative your max +1. But, like, we didn't mean to set that precedent, and it was a mistake, and we looked back and said, whoops, that was an accident, and we shouldn't have gone with it, but it's too late now, so what are we going to do about it? So we don't hold it here.
I think Roy was brought to exactly his and
Yeah.
did not die.
And you want to say that that is a precedent and not a mistake?
I don't know. I'm clutching at straws. I think he's just had his head cut off.
I think he's just had his head cut off, right?
He just had his head cut off.
If you take any damage while you're at 0 hit points, you suffer a death saving throw. If it's critical, you suffer 2 failures. If it equals or exceeds your maximum hit points, you suffer instant death. He
Equals
hacks off
or
Vasher's head.
exceeds.
Jesus.
The next
Fuck
melee
me.
minion will club mitts
We are 1/3 of the way through the session, and Vasher is dead.
for 14, for 5.
And we just move on with the
bringing
battle.
mitts to 2.
And the reason we just move on with the battle is because with Vasher down and Cassius still at full HP, in my brain, I'm like, this is it. The party's gonna wipe. This is the moment where everyone dies. If Vasher can't even survive a single round with him, then this is game. And so let's just get through it. Let's not drag it out longer than it needs to.
The next bodyguard will... we'll just a quarterstaff on... We don't have pack tactics. That's fine. We'll just quarterstaff the fighter.
Miss.
Miss and a hit for 9. The next bodyguard will quarterstaff the old man. 15
Hits.
for 6. 10 is a miss. Vika.
Trying to find an angle. It's quite hard.
I think we're dead. This guy's like level 10 or something.
Can Vika move?
Vika's got...
We're gonna skip a little bit. There's some question about the angles on fire breath. It doesn't really matter. You know, whether or not you
Okay,
kill
so
this
Vika
additional
moves here.
minion is a very, very minor
I
point. He's probably
think,
gonna
well,
flee on his next turn anyway.
So what is like the angle?
Hello, everybody. And
Ooh, that is not the forward button. That is the restart button.
well, Steramir, do you have any... do you have any movement? I think he's just had his head cut off.
Even
4 plus
extra.
3.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So Vika does some fire breath, kills this person. Didn't really matter. Wounds these people.
Let's see how much HP
Roy
it's not gonna
throws
feel
down
hard.
some magic missile attacks, which
So
are
17.
decent.
That's a chunk.
It's
Yeah,
it's
not enough.
damage.
Not enough. This is a dead bodyguard. This minion passes his save and will move here and club Vika.
Got to get this
9
damn
is a
Vika out of the
miss.
way.
To do on the attack, or is it like it might actually be able?
Vika, 9 is a miss.
Right.
Vasher to
It's
lat.
actually really important.
Buddy, we're just gonna...
It's time for me to argue that I might actually be alive.
Oh,
Is it actually an automatic crit when someone is knocked out? Is it an auto crit, or do you have advantage on the attack, or is it like?
It's both, but
let me open up my player's
we
handbook.
double check it. You get advantage when they're prone,
Let's see,
and it's an automatic crit when they're
unconscious.
5
5 feet. I think I'm fucking dead.
I think you're fucking dead. Just to see if your head comes back onto the shoulders.
So we paused the music because this is the first character death. And it's early in the session. And we should acknowledge when a character dies.
That's a 9. All
So
right,
that's what we're gonna do.
The horse enrages.
Hold on.
It's
We're gonna-
acting independently.
Yes, that will absolutely happen. But before we get there, Vasher, your character is absolutely dead, but you're going to wake up, or you're going to come to consciousness. You are in the water, like kind of washing up on a beach at nighttime. There's some like palm trees nearby. There's some stars out. It's a soft, sandy beach with a little bit of grasses. Nick is looking around because he's seen this scene before. This is one of the ways we deal with character death. Small hut before you.
I make my way to the hut.
Yeah, you get up, you start making your way over there. You've got your armor. Well, actually, you're not wearing armor, but you've got your shield and your sword still in your hand. Your horse isn't anywhere to be seen. Hut has a straw roof. It's pretty small. This
maybe
is
like
our
8 feet wide, and 10 feet
introduction
deep, doesn't have any
to the
walls, it just has,
afterlife.
like a bar and a whole bunch of
It's a
stools sitting there.
peaceful tropical beach at nighttime. There's a bar. There's, you know, a barman. There's some people there. There's some booze. There's a barrel of water that you can look into and see where you were just when you died and see what's going on.
I guess
Um,
if that seems to be the way.
and the
things seem to be
purpose
doing,
of
I'll leave my
this
weapons.
scene that we do here
drop 'em on the ground
is
or
to
shoot
give
them
our players some
nicely
closure and to
to-
let the character death sink in and to make the person who just died not just like sit out of the rest of the game. It's not fun to just sit there for 3 hours while the rest of your friends play a game and you just have to watch. So we're giving some interaction, like you're dead. Here's what's going on. Like, welcome to the afterlife, or at least the first step into the afterlife, which is, you know, oftentimes people talk about the afterlife like you did, and then you do this thing right away.
They'll keep it by
Sometimes there's a path between the two, you know, and it takes some time to get from one place to another. You don't just instant your way there.
There's a bartender on the other side of the
Um,
kind of old.
And the most important part about
rather,
this whole thing
bar who has
isn't necessarily
rubbed
giving the
out a
person
green
something to
glass
do.
made out of brass with a
It's
wrap
giving them
with a hole
closure
that
on
gives
their
you a bit of
character.
nod.
It's
And
letting
starts
the
to
character
pull
death
the
sink in
glass
for them
underneath the
and
bar,
letting it
and
sink
then
in
the
for everyone
table
else
sets
that,
it down
like,
for you.
this
Hello
guy's dead. This is a fatal situation. Let's take some time. Let's acknowledge it. We all too could end up here in the afterlife.
well met.
And then the other thing is, you know,
the
gives him something to
brass
do, which
cup
is nice.
and kind of nurse it in his hands, not really drinking it.
It also gives him some moment to reflect on his character a little and be like, hey, what have I done? Who am I? Let me round it out. And it also allows you to see from the top down what's going on. It hints at some of the deep lore over there. It gives us a lot of options and a lot of little fun tools to play with.
And he'll ask, "Where am I?"
You're in Haven. Safe place.
Vasher will nod and then take a drink of the drink. How does Vasher feel right now? Does he kind of feel at peace?
Probably confused. Maybe at peace. It's a calm, relaxing environment. You know, it's nighttime. There's a gentle beach. You've got a nice, cool drink in your hand. It's kind of warm out. But, you know, we can get to this on your next turn. So let's return. We don't want to take too much time with it because the battle is still here and we got to finish the battle. Turn to the battle because I think your horse is very angry. Right?
Yeah, the horse is super angry and it will lash out at our good friend Cassius with a 22 to hit.
Nice.
That is a hit.
As 2d6
Good job,
9
Scamp.
damage. Okay, get wrecked.
Ooh, all right. Good job,
9 to
buddy.
Cassius.
I also need to add you back into the order so I can't forget that you have Scamp. All right, the next bodyguard goes. The what's it called? Dude is down. Bodyguard's gonna come on over here. Coming to.
Wait, did you skip me?
Oh, I did skip you. I totally skipped you, Cassian. I am so sorry. Please take your turn.
Thank you. But is the bodyguard back?
Bodyguard's back. Yeah.
Christ.
I am
Great
so
weapon
sorry.
master. Not an advantage. This is a normal attack. Here you go. 13 is a hit. For 24.
Dropping another one.
Okay.
Jesus.
You need to heal, mate.
Now he
Do
has
another attack though.
a bonus action or a
yeah.
second wind.
I'm gonna walk here. Oh, I gotta think.
Do you heal?
Would I get
Or do you
advantage
take
if
someone
I-
down? 24 damage
skirted-
actually isn't enough to kill one of these bodyguards.
What if you skirted the other way? Like,
Oh yeah. Can I do that? Can I
You
skirt
would.
up and over?
Yes. Yes, that is successful.
Here you go. This is an advantage. Another great weapon.
I suppose
master
Vika
attack.
counts as flanking.
Oh.
Dude.
The
Come
dice are
on.
not
It's
on
so
your
unlucky.
side. All right.
Also, I want to remind everyone, I think all of us have inspiration, right?
Wait, why?
I know I have inspiration.
Congrats, you have that.
I just thought we all got some at some point. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sorry.
This bodyguard comes over here and will multi-attack with the quarterstaff at advantage because she's got pack tactics and it's a miss.
And her second attack is a 23. Will hit you
Jesus
for
Wait, no.
fucking
eight.
Christ.
Wait, oh, is pack tactics if they're within 5 feet of the targets or within 5
Yeah.
feet of the...
Yeah, she could have
Oh,
moved
okay.
into either of these positions, but she has pack tactics, so she just stayed here. But
So you're doing 8?
yeah, 8 damage.
Okay, take my 5 off.
Mm-hmm.
Go
I'm
7.
sorry.
This melee minion does need to make a morale check since so many people around him are dying and will fail and just bolt like melee minions do. So this guy, he's at full HP, but still, like, everybody, there's a whole bunch of bloodshed all around him. All the archers are dead, half the bodyguards are dead, half the melee minions are dead. One of the enemy is dead too, but like everybody's dying. And so I think for the chump minions, you know what? That seems like a fair roll to make. I also don't think that the minions really would have had much of an impact, but at least they're routing, they're fleeing, they're speeding up the battle by not being there. And also let's always underscore the personality of the minions, and the personality of the time, the personality of the characters. Minions are not 100% reliable. They will be with you, but they will flee when scared. Routing is a dangerous thing. Steermere.
Okay. I'm going to move away from this person taking an attack of opportunity.
Whap! Miss.
Missing. Okay, let me just get my movement right here. He's probably going for Cassian, but I move to here,
Mm-hmm.
I think. Just checking. Yeah, I'm out of his range there, right, Neal?
You think so?
Okay. I think I was going to get the minions, but they're kind of mostly being cleaned up and might run, so I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt at Cassius. Do I have inspiration, Neal, for any chance? Maybe for the recap?
Is it on your character sheet?
You
No,
didn't
it's
give
just,
him
I
it
just think
for the
maybe you
recap,
forgot.
though.
I think maybe you forgot to say it, is what I was asking.
I don't know if we normally give inspiration for recaps or not. I can never remember from one moment to the next, but if you're going to argue for an advantage in this desperate battle and you've got a legitimate advantage to call on, by golly, I'll give it to you. You've earned it. Yeah, you did a recap. It was a great recap. So here you go. Actually, I don't remember if you did a recap at all. It's true. You did give a good recap. Yeah. Go ahead. Inspiration. I think that is our usual deal.
Did he really? No one heard it.
I am using my inspiration for this Guiding Bolt on him. If I cast this at level 2, what does it do?
Probably just
Increase it by D6. That's not.
Only 3.5
That's not
damage.
worth it.
That's
Okay,
not worth
just
it.
cast it at level 1. All right, Guiding Bolt. Let's go. Advantage. 25.
Hits.
It's at 19. Fuck. Neal, can I get a +1 on that? Anyway,
Wouldn't matter.
Wouldn't matter.
for a crit, I mean.
No, I can't increase the natural die by 1 for you. I'm so sorry.
Okay. 14 damage.
14's pretty good.
And-
The next
And-
attack roll made.
Yes.
He's gonna come fucking murder me.
Yes.
Now-
All right, Mitz. Mitz has got to make a morale check. Make a morale check here, and is fucking done. Oh, I'm sorry, Cassius. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Not apologizing to Cassian. Apologizing to Cassius because he's terrified. Cassius.
Come on. This is going to have to be the luckiest set of rolls I ever saw in my life.
Now, Cassius. He's got a couple options here before him. Right, he could kill the horse. He could go up here and kill Cassian, or he could chase down one of these other people. You know what? This guy up here, he's so close to dead. He's so close to dead. His minions can handle this shit. So Cassius is going to move and dash. And I stand
Dash
by
of
this action.
opportunity.
From whom?
The horse.
Horse.
The horse has to be wielding a weapon to get an attack of opportunity. So the horse does get to make the attack of opportunity, and it is at advantage. Let's actually go back to here. There we go. So why does Cassius run to close with Steermere? Well, we've already talked about the problem of being a dwarf and that your enemies can kite you for days. If your movement is 20 as a dwarf, or 25, doesn't really matter, then your enemy can take a 30-foot movement and shoot or cast a spell or something, and you would have to move and dash to get up to them. Now, this creates a situation where the dwarf can move and dash to catch you, then the human can disengage and move, and then the dwarf moves and dash, and this can happen forever, where nobody gets an attack and everybody's running. Or the human could double move and take an attack of opportunity. But we're aware of this mechanic at play here. And this guy up here, you know, he's almost dead. This Cassian guy, this fighter up here, he's very close to dead. Look at that. It's 7 out of 37. He's only got 13 AC. There's a bodyguard and a minion. Like, this is probably fine. And even if it's not fine, he's going to be held down here in this battle for a little while. Whereas these two fuckers, you know, this guy's a spellcaster, this guy's a spellcaster. These people could be a threat if they could get some distance and then just throw spells and kite and throw spells for a little while. And so he comes over here and he comes to this side of Steermere. So that way, if Steermere runs this way, he's running towards Cassius's and allies. If he runs this way, Cassius has like a greater route to him. If he runs... I can't move it. If he runs this way off towards the bottom of the map, then Cassius is going to be just a little bit closer to where Steermere might end. And the only other spot maybe like Steermere could run down this path maybe. But this is the optimal spot to get Steermere wherever he goes. And so he moves and he dashes and he gets around Steermere. We're here next to Steermere and shove. DC 12 athletics or acrobatics. 20 keeps you a foot, and she shoves you again. 15.
Fuck you. Yes.
Oh!
Nice.
Mika.
Okay. To find another angle. The question is, do I try to save?
Okay.
Do I try to save?
What would you do?
Cassian up there.
Vika could go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then maybe try to fire breath. No, but there's no way to fire breath just these two without hitting Cassian. It's never going to happen. So you could fire breath 1, you could fire breath this one, you could fire breath this one, you could fire breath this one.
No. Oh.
There's only a few places you could go. I mean, you're not going to be able to hit anyone without doing collateral damage on your allies. Vika's in a tough spot. 3d6 damage ain't nothing.
Neal.
Or it is worth
Cassian
something.
would be okay.
Yeah, ain't nothing.
I thought 3d6 worked the other way around. I thought this guy had
3d6 is
disadvantage,
reasonable
but
damage, but it's not going to make or break the battle here.
the horse should have advantage on the hooves.
But does the horse really use up the guiding bolt?
Absolutely. A 100%. Vasher, kick me again.
Fuck me.
Come on,
Oh,
natural
yeah.
20, please.
Hold on.
From a 1 to a 20. Think
me.
of the real.
It would be so good. Come on.
Oh, 14's a miss. Sorry.
I think
So-
I can do a move. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
Finally, a little bit of fucking luck.
Vika
Okay.
moves
So I do get
to
a move,
fire
yeah,
breath.
okay, cool.
Finally, a little
Takes
bit
an attack of
fucking luck.
opportunity. Takes 3 damage. I think the guy does d6 plus 1 on damage. Vika has 4 HP, and the guy rolls a 2. Vika is somehow still in the game. There. Excellent.
And then, yeah, I will angle the cone so that it doesn't fucking. It only hits Cassius.
Mm-hmm.
And I will roll you 3d6 for Dragon's Breath.
Cassius makes a dexterity saving throw. It's a 17. They will pass and take 4 damage.
It is what it is.
Roy Waystar. There's a lot going on here. Vasher's dead.
Yeah. Magic missile level 2.
Mm-hmm. And
3, 4, plus 3.
Yep.
Come on. Come on. Yes.
really good.
Ooh,
roll.
Very good. Very good.
And bonus action. Roy casts Expeditious Retreat on himself.
Can't cast 2 spells.
oh, yeah,
And
you're right,
plus
you're right,
1
right.
is a cantrip, right? Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Oh, right. We always round up. Thank you.
Yeah.
Will with advantage now.
Oh,
Club
come
melee
on.
minion comes up here, goes to club him,
18
hits
is
him.
it.
Technically,
is
he
a
could do
melee
7
minion gonna
damage.
be your death.
It's possible.
6 damage.
So
Keeps him down to 1.
For 1.
Oh,
Vasher.
buddy. Buddy. You are now. It's Vasher's turn again. So we're gonna return to the scene on the beach.
I'm hanging out at Haven.
Hanging out in Haven. Yeah, you're looking around. It's nice on the beach. It's quiet. Bartender pours you a drink. You can look to your left and right and see there's some other folks here.
I looked at the bartender and say I wasn't finished.
You know, most of us aren't. There's a lot of stuff to do out there, but well, you only get to go around once.
Vasher says, I want to go back. My friends need me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They're gonna, and he kind of looks over to a barrel next to him, and he frowns. He goes, "Oh yeah, they do need you. Yeah, they do. They're about to get wiped.
What do you see? I like climb over the bar and look into the barrel.
The surface of the barrel is water, and it looks like it's sort of, you can see a image superimposed on it of the battlefield where your friends are fighting for their life. You can see Cassian being clubbed in the side of the head by this minion over here and like reeling from it, and he's barely standing. He's clearly about to go down, like he's on the verge of death, and he's surrounded by his enemies. You can see Steermere is pincered between the fearsome dwarven warrior and one of these bodyguards. Just killed. There's not much to say here. Advantage. They're not paying attention. It's a sweet scene.
Back.
Guy shakes his head. I can't do that. Here. Like, Cassius
The
has
dwarf
moved
killed
away.
this guy.
Yeah, but is the horse going to mourn the body?
Intelligence check for the horse.
Wait, it's low.
No, the discussion of is the horse going to become a full-fledged party member and join in the battle and fight effectively with the rest of the party when the rider's gone is a little whack. Obviously, the warhorse is not going to then just come around and fight like a proper party member. They end up arguing that the warhorse might try to flee and coincidentally wants to flee in the direction of the enemies because they come up with some bullshit reason. And, we let it slide. We let it slide because I think the party's going to wipe and, let them get away with whatever they want because they're all going to die anyway. And it's not like,
I think the horse
it's not worth the argument. We play with it a little bit. And we let the horse come up with an approach towards Plax. Sure, why not? Why not? It's going to get to attack a bodyguard, but that doesn't really matter. The bodyguards don't matter. What matters is Cassius. Cassius gets 3 attacks at +8 to hit. All the things that I don't know now that my rider is dead.
No, I think what it's doing is
3 attacks at +7 to hit for 2d12 +4 damage. So, the bodyguards don't really matter. We have a conversation for a wee bit, but let's move on.
Give me that 20 feet so I can knock him prone.
Position, which is essentially
Because if
Right?
here and
trying to get around,
actually
Okay.
terrifying. Cassian, 1 hit point, surrounded. Wow, Scamp actually did real damage there, though.
That's life.
you
Cassian is
do?
going to use Great Weapon Mastery on the person on his left, the 10 AC person.
Okay.
An 11.
Hit.
It's a hit. Sorry, it was advantage. It should have been normal, but it's fine.
It's a hit either way.
For 22.
Doesn't quite kill them.
And he's going to use Second Wind, which is 1d10 plus 4 HP heal. For 11.
Oh, that's a lot. That's pretty good. That's pretty
The
good.
bodyguard
He's not going to be
fails
dead.
their
Their morale check and will disengage. I think we've mentioned this before, but in case we haven't, let's talk about it real quickly. I've made a macro for the bodyguard for people to roll morale checks. And one of the things that I wanted is that a penalty on your morale check depending on how much HP you've lost. But in order to get the rolls to look right, I couldn't quite institute it. Like, I could do it, but then it would show up as like 3 minus something. Like, there would be some awkwardness to it. And so instead, I found a way to modify a DC roll based on the HP. And the formula we use is DC 15 minus your HP percentage times 5. rounded down. So if you're at 100% of HP, then it's 15 minus 5. If you're at 0% HP or like, barely alive at all, then it'll be 15 minus 0. And so DC 15 is as high as it gets, is what I'm trying to say. And then it is modified by your wisdom save as well. So if you have high wisdom, you get bonuses to your morale check. If you have low wisdom, you get penalties to your morale check. And then if you have high HP, you have no penalties to your save. If you have low HP, you've got penalties to your save, otherwise known as an increase in DC. And that's why this little block is formatted this way. Morale check, target name, DC, and then the actual roll. It's a nice little macro. I actually have to have one macro for the red bars and one macro for the yellow bars because you're pulling off of their HP, and sometimes HP is a red number and sometimes it's a yellow number, and sometimes a character has, their character token has 3 fields that can show up in 3 different bars. One we usually use for AC, but it doesn't show up as a bar. The other we use for HP, and the last one we use for temporary HP. So it's possible. You'll see Cassian sometimes gets temporary HP, and then he'll get like a yellow bar on top of his blue bar. And the same thing with these baddies. If this red token had gained temporary HP for any reason, they would have a yellow bar on top of their bar. And so we actually do need separate macros, one to do yellow bar HP and one to do red bar HP. We could make another macro for blue bar HP, but the only people with blue bars are the characters, and the characters never make morale checks, so we didn't bother. Engage and get the fuck out.
It's just you and me, big boy. Sure you want to die today?
Steermere takes a turn. He sounds exactly like Mitz, by the way. I don't know.
Hey, are you related to Mitz?
Okay. Quick question here.
They're not actually
Roy
brothers. They're
hasn't
just
moved
being
this
dumb.
turn. Is it
But
possible that Roy can
sometimes
use
when
his
you're
movement?
dumb, no.
Okay. The thing is, if I stay here, if I end my turn within 20 feet of this dwarf,
You die.
I'm going to die. So I need to take an attack of opportunity. So I'm going to move 30 feet to like there, yeah.
But you're
So,
not taking one attack of
yeah.
opportunity, Steermere. You're taking one attack of opportunity from each of these characters.
If you
He does do 2d12. You might need to disengage.
I got 24 health. I think I can survive it.
if you can be within 30 feet of Vika,
Wait, he's serious question. Can't you just disengage and do your 30 move and he can't get to you?
Hey, no, but he's gonna kill Roy. We need to put damage on him.
He's got a good point. If Steermere disengages and flees, then this guy can just go kill Roy. If Steermere walks away and then gets damage on him but doesn't kill, I don't know. Maybe the right answer is to stand your ground and to hit him with a spell right here. Because if you walk away, you're going to take an attack of opportunity, and then you cast your spell, and then he goes and kills Roy anyway, right? So, like, unless you're going to kill him, if you're going to kill him or knock him down, then you don't need to leave. If you're not going to kill him, then he's going to walk over and kill Roy or kill you. So this is a tough spot. This is a really, really tough position to be in. And by leaving, he's essentially sacrificing Roy and trying to get damage on Cassius, which I don't blame him for. I would do the same thing in his boat. But it's a tough, like, you're going to have to take opportunity attacks from both of these people. It's a mess.
if you can get within range of Vika's movement, by the way, I can maybe expeditious retreat you through Vika, but I don't know if that's relevant.
We've got more movement than him. I think we don't need it. I think we just got to put the damage on him. So I'm going to move down to here, taking the attack of opportunity Neal from both of them.
All right, here is... I'm glad that he called out from both of them. The bodyguard. We roll the bodyguard first because it's the least important one. Let's just get it out of the way. Unfortunately, it hits. 17.
Okay.
Will hit you for 3. Minimum damage.
Wait, can I say that the bodyguard might need a morale check before that? Or is that on their turn?
Morale check on their turn, yeah.
Got it.
And
Come on, just don't do 21 damage. Just don't do 21 damage.
Cassius, silver bars. Whoosh.
Fuck you! I actually cannot believe that. Fucking bullshit.
Insane.
Oh, that's.
I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen.
Wow.
What is
You
that?
should have
Oh my!
disengaged.
How am I meant to know he's gonna roll a crit and do 30 damage? That's fucking bullshit. I'm so
He's got
annoyed.
advantage, and it's Koibu.
Cassius comes to Roy.
He doesn't even have advantage.
He was flanking.
Maybe, I suppose.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have had advantage because you leave the square at this point. By the time you're no longer threatening, whoops, you'd be in a different place. He comes up to Roy.
Wait, can I still use my hellish rebuke thing to do the 2/8
No, you're
damage
dead.
as I go down?
You're dead. Roy, he looks at you in the face, and he brings his axe up. 14 will hit you.
Shield.
Actually, it won't.
Hey.
Good use of shield.
growls.
Good
He
use of
axes you
shield.
again.
Oh, you're
That one will hit you.
Now I'm dead.
And he'll do
Low?
19, and you go down.
Goodbye.
And he'll axe your body one more time.
miss.
11 will hit.
Dex maybe not though.
Oh, actually, no, it won't because his shield is still in effect. But,
But
yeah, the
it's
21,
advantage 'cause he's prone,
it does
and
make
he
it a
dies.
hit, and the 11 will kill Roy. And
11 is exactly what you needed to kill Roy because Roy was at 0. 11 on 2d12 plus 4 is actually a pretty low roll. He was almost certainly going to kill Roy, but he barely killed Roy. Just barely. As well. It looks like the party is not long for this world. Now,
Last body.
in this moment, we can see that there is one player character left at 12 HP. There's one that's unconscious at 0, and there's 3 enemies. Actually, 4 with the other bodyguard. I'm 100% expecting the party to die here. I know that Cassius has a potion of invisibility, because you be a hero by staying alive, right? You can't be a hero if you're dead, and so you always have an out. You always have an out. Just like Drakthar took off when they started to get hurt, Cassius has a potion of invisibility for these situations.
Hellish rebuke. It says whenever I get hit. Why not?
I think you should be able to.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do you need to take damage?
Yeah, why not?
Wait, where's that?
Yeah,
And
wait,
what
I think I
quarterstaff
can
you?
still do the hellish
Okay,
rebuke.
here
It
we
says
go.
whenever I get you can use your reaction to cause the creature to make a dex
All
saving
right, it's
throw.
hit. It's not deals damage with an attack. Go for it.
Yeah, okay.
Minimum damage
Just
on his
the-
hellish rebuke.
Just the spit.
Oh,
Bodyguard
The
roll.
bodyguard should have to make a. Hold on, that bodyguard should have to make.
Oh, yeah.
A
No, you're
runaway
right.
Save.
Morale check. That
See
is a
ya.
failure. So instead of going there, they dip this way.
And then you get hit by the horse.
yes, I do believe the horse gets a free attack of opportunity on the
Please.
bodyguard as it's
The
running.
horse
away.
getting attack on the guy running away is just for giggles. I'm not going to fight him on it. It has no impact on the value of the battle. It's just some cope as the party is all dying. And we know the party's going to die.
Dark day.
So
here.
why
What
not?
is it, 2d8? There you go. 8 damage.
I think Jamie is in the middle of doing
attack
something
roll,
else. He
please,
was
with the horse though.
lost attention on the game while he was
You can attack roll with
responding to a
horse.
phone call or
Yeah.
something.
He's not listening. I'll do it. D20.
Hooves.
Oh, there you go. He got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I got an email and I
You're good.
zoned out because I'm mad that I'm dead.
Yes.
Yes.
All
I
right,
think the horse is
Frey-
actually
It hits
2d6
Frey
plus
and
4,
flees.
but whatever.
Vika goes, but Roy's gone, so I don't know if Vika even exists. It's a familiar. At the very least, it's going to breathe fire on
Technically, Vika should no longer have fire breath, but I kind of forgot about that.
this guy. So Roy, give me
concentration spell.
3d6, but it's getting very gray here. Passes. He takes.
And we're looking at
5.
this battlefield. We know that Cassius
Roy
is going to
Restart,
kill
you also
Cassian instantly,
up
so we
on
don't
a
worry
beach.
so much about the 5
definitely.
damage here. Like,
Yeah.
It did.
I think in the
God
end,
was a
maybe it actually
dream.
does help the party. I think in the end, maybe Vika having fire when he wasn't supposed to might have saved Cassian. Maybe I don't remember exactly how the damage rules worked out, but oh,
I thought, whew. All right, I'll also head over to the hut.
Roy in the
Hear sounds of
afterlife.
emotion as Vasher is tearing the place apart to the best of his ability.
You can see Vasher there doing exactly what he says, trying to tear the place apart. And the bartender's there with his hands in the air, like, "Oh God damn it!" And the other patrons have sort of like walked away, and they're just sort of sipping their drinks.
Vasher, what are you doing? I had the weirdest dream. Let me tell you. What's happening?
Vasher
Hard
turns to
one.
Roy and says, "Roy, it's not fair. I'm supposed to be down there helping. Wait, what are you doing here?"
What's not fair?
I wasn't finished. We weren't finished. We had to save Arnold.
Well, yeah, we can still save Arnold. Don't worry.
Roy, we're dead.
No, that was a dream. Remember?
No, this is the last sleep.
Oh, I'm probably still dreaming. Fuck. Roy
Bart.
punches himself.
Bartender pours you a glass of wine and brings it over to you. Welcome to Haven. Nice to have you.
It's. Oh my god. So how do I? Can I try to pinch myself again?
It doesn't really hurt. You don't really feel it even.
Vasher, how do we get? Where's everyone? Where's Sturmir? Where's Cassian?
Well, we're gonna
Vasher
find
kinda
out
like
the castle world, Haven.
I'll channel divinity.
We have the
to
minion
make my horse more
Make the
powerful.
attack
No,
roll during the scene, which is probably a terrible
I would
idea,
beg-
right? I knew it was Roy's turn, then the minion's turn, then Vasher's turn, and we have the minion go without really changing the scene back and bringing the music back. We didn't do it because we got to then get to Vasher right away. And I could have just had Vasher and Roy have their scene together without the minion in between. Having the minion attack, actually, it was a terrible idea. If the minion had killed Cassian without a proper change back to battle music and battle mode, I think that would have been very, very sad. And I don't know why we did it that way. That was just a bad call. I know that there was a problem with Roll20 where the HP bars weren't updating all the time, so maybe I saw Cassian with more HP. And I didn't think that the minion could kill him, and so I was just doing it. Oh no, that's exactly what happened. Right. He had 12 HP, so the minion couldn't kill him, so he got hit and he took... Okay, that's why we didn't bother changing the scene. There we go. This makes way more sense. Because there's no way the minion... Well, I guess maybe he could have rolled a 20 and then 2 6s. It's just so hard for the minion to kill Cassian at this moment that still was a bad idea. If there's any chance that the character should die, you should be in full battle mode.
I will beg Vel Montarius to right the injustice of my death. I'll fall to my knees and summon an oath to.
That's all I can do.
It's a sad, sad scene out there.
Just someone like it.
Fuck.
That's all
Now,
I can do.
in this situation where you're fighting these minions who have 12 AC and 11 HP, I want to say 11 HP. If you're Cassian and you great weapon master them, you're guaranteed to kill them. But if you miss, well, then you're just shit out of luck. Cassian's damage is 2d6 plus 3, which averages to 10. And considering minions have to roll morale when they get wounded, I actually think the right choice in this situation would be to make a regular attack. Now, with the 5 that he rolled, it wouldn't have mattered. I think he's got plus 6 on his attack. He would have rolled an 11. It still would have missed the minion. But I think when there are so many dead minions, all you need to do is put a little damage on one to make it flee. And I think the right move would be a normal attack. On the other hand, they then pass the morale check. Well, maybe the Great Weapon Master is the right way to go here. But with 12 AC, that's a 40% chance of hitting. This is a fleeing bodyguard steamer death save.
Okay.
Come on, Nick, please.
It ain't over till it's over, baby.
Get back
Let's
in
go.
it.
I didn't hear no bell.
Does Vasher's prayers get me inspiration on my death save, Neal?
No, I'm
That's
sorry.
what I know. Come on, I can feel it. You know, these are the moments.
And he's right. In the past, people have rolled 20s on their death saves and gotten up like every time the party has been on the verge of wiping, it's happened. And so at the same time that I'm expecting the battle is completely over and Cassian is going to die, I'm also sort of holding in the back of my mind that, could happen.
I take all the ones for this moment. Come on! Fuck.
It's a pass.
Okay. It's a pass, yeah.
Cassius. He looks to Plax, who's standing there in awe. Now, Plax is just the closest person to him, and there's a cart full of stuff. He could 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 35, 40, 45. He could maybe, if this is 5, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 or 40. I can't remember. So he could dash all the way up to Cassian. But also Plax is right here. And we're going to show off a little bit and have him walk around and just crush everything in his path. And he walks up.
Oh my god, fucking brutal.
And he cuts Plax's head off. And he starts
Fucking
heading back the other
bastard.
direction. His bodyguard has also fled. It's Vika's turn. I'm assuming Vika comes over here and breathes fire once more.
Do it,
on the
Vika.
dwarf.
3d6.
18, 18, 18, 18.
3d6, baby.
Oh, he fails it.
He
Great.
fails it.
8?
Takes
wait,
8.
can I use inspiration?
No, not on that.
No.
Not on damage rolls.
Oh.
You're dead.
Oh, buddy.
Your inspiration's gone.
Yeah, that's true. Roy, it's your turn on the beach again.
I-
We're just gonna skip ahead. Do some beach shit
we go,
and
Nick.
come adjacent to
Okay.
you. Cassius,
I like
is it here?
And
Actually, hold on. Let's go back a little bit. Beach scene, beach scene.
my turn.
Back.
with him. So he's gonna move.
Back.
Okay, do
Back. All right. So they do their beach stuff. They talk on the beach a little bit. Whatever. They're mulling their deaths. It's a touching scene. It brings tears to the eyes. I have no commentary on it because the party's just role playing well. The only commentary I would have is about how it's foreshadowing deep lore, and we're talking about this sort of zone that we've seen over and over again in multiple campaigns, and what can you draw from it? Blah blah blah. You can watch it and delve, pull all the information out of it that you want. I don't really have anything fun to say about it here. So when we come back in, and it's just Cassian and one minion and Cassius, we change the music from our Desert Sands or our Sand Raiders battle music to our Black Rider battle
Come on,
music.
fucking moot. You gotta kill this guy.
Cassian does his signature move. He pulls the sword up and he heaves it down with his great weapon mastery. For
Yeah.
13.
Fucking
Yes.
hell. Finally.
For 23.
Okay, there's still hope. I believe that.
There's
like,
a little bit of.
you
there's a
can
little
fucking
bit
do
of
this.
hope.
We're supposed to be bringing
Okay.
in.
Hold on, I got a math.
Okay, do
You
some
know what
math,
else
yeah.
is spelled with?
This is still Desert Riders.
Okay,
uh,
this is a stupid
Sand
fucking
Riders?
dwarf,
Sand
yeah?
Raiders.
Yeah.
Stupid fucking dwarf. Yeah.
Gotta think real quick.
Are there any ranged weapons around? Perhaps a bow that
20.
you could pick up?
If he moves 20 towards you, you can
I
get
know.
the jump on him. Yeah.
I know.
And that is what he'll do, because he's not scared
That
of you.
is, and I'm gonna fuck with him. So he's gonna move 20 towards me, right?
Yeah.
That's probably the goal.
He might dash towards you, actually. Or throw
Yeah, but
his
that's
axe at
even
you.
fine.
If he dashes towards him, that leaves Vika still, like, active.
Yeah.
What if he throws his axe at you?
Then he's got no axe.
Then I'm fucked. then I'm fucked.
He's never going to throw his axe.
Dwarves aren't very
Cassian will move
dexterous.
there.
In this situation, what I'm actually thinking, well, I've got the thought process right now is that Cassius Silver Bars is really low on HP. He's at like a quarter of his max. And so he should probably leave. He's got a potion of invisibility just for these moments, and he can just walk away. Now, this fire-breathing beetle is kind of a bitch. Kind of wants to get rid of it. But he could also just drink his potion and leave. Or better yet, drink his potion, or walk over onto these rocks and drink his potion up there, or drink the potion and then walk onto the rocks. Like, he can get to a spot where he probably, you know, his placement couldn't be seen. Maybe hops on the cart, and then when people come towards him, he can like attack from invisibility, or maybe he just walks away. There's a lot of options with the invisibility potion.
And he will say, what does he say? Fight me honorably like you fought in the arena. Give me a warrior's death.
And that right there, that line from Mr. Mooten, I don't know if the smile is related to that, but that line from Mr. Mooten changes Cassius's plans to, you know what? We will fight you like we did in the arena. I will give you a warrior's death. Let's fucking go. That line right there from Mr. Moon completely changed Cassius's tactics for the rest of the battle. Now we bring in
And
the
readies
Black
an
Riders.
attack, which he doesn't have to ready.
Come on. If I get the 20, do I get my turn?
Yes.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
wait,
you
I
have to
actually
stand
a
up.
question. Can I ready an attack as a bonus action right here?
No,
Because I
it
have
takes an
extra
action
attack?
to ready your
Oh,
attack.
it takes an action to ready.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, he didn't have an action. Come on. Oh,
It's fine.
Fuck.
You're okay. We're gonna make it out of here.
Right. Cassius's turn. He takes a step towards Vika.
what?
Oh, he
He
actually
misses.
misses.
Miss.
All right, there we
Okay,
go.
we got the 20
This
out of
guy
the way.
fucking crits every attack.
Minimum damage.
That's
Ugh.
really
Well, not
bad
actually
damage.
minimum.
That's very
real
low.
bad. He gets rid of Vika.
Rip.
Ugh. Well, he doesn't have the movement to get to you, so he'll take a step forward. And it's your turn again.
Oh my god. Come on.
Nick, there's no way. Hold on.
There's so much of a way.
He's
just
a
got a
dwarf,
20.
and I have a bow. How do you
Yeah.
feel about it? It's so cringe.
He'll dash up to you, and
But then you
you'll
can
have
disengage.
The bow option is sort of legit, except for the fact that, first off, casting... Oh, he does have a short bow. Look at that. But his attack with the short bow is only +4, so he needs a 12, and he only deals d6 +1 damage. So he's going to do, what, 4 damage at a time, and he's still then just going to be run down, because he'll have to, like, double move, provoking attack of opportunity to get himself some space. But if he just disengages and moves, then the dwarf will just catch him. You're not going to be able to kite the dwarf if the dwarf dashes at you. Thank God he didn't choose this, of
And run,
course.
right?
Yeah, but then I can just this is the problem with being a fucking dwarf.
He's always going to be able to run and dash up to you.
Not if he gets to the horse. Then he's 60
I can't
feet.
ride the horse.
And the horse is already fleeing. We had talked about how it was running, and the path is clear, and it's gone. Fight me, man! Fight me!
I'm gonna take a few steps back.
No, mate, you're asking to get the axe throw if you run.
And I am going to ready an attack.
Okay. Yeah. That
Come at
works.
me then, he says. And Cassian looks like he's not running. He's readying an attack, and he's ready.
Steer death save.
Come on, Nick. Natural 20, please. No!
You're
alive,
stable.
Fuck. Now I can't roll. If I failed, I could have rolled again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cassius
Oh,
goes.
boy.
Well... she will move and dash
you go,
and
Nick.
come adjacent to
Okay.
you.
Nice. Good place. Well played.
Now, the other option that Cassius had was to move here and ready an attack themselves. But if they move here and ready an attack, then Cassian could double move pretty safely and get some pretty good distance away. And that would be a problem. And so if they were in an arena where there was nowhere else to go, or if like maybe Cassian was over here and Cassius was over here, then like moving close and readying an attack would be fine, because then if Mr. Mutant wanted to go out, like he'd still have to skirt around a little bit, and Cassius could catch up. But in this situation, standing here and readying attack, as great as a defensive option as that is, would not have helped.
Well played, Boots. Come on, please.
Make your attack. Is this Great Weapon Master or
turn?
regular? No, you readied an action, didn't you?
Oh
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
ready to
this is
attack, yeah.
your ready to attack.
Let me think. I almost have to do a regular attack, right?
Otherwise,
Yeah, -5. It means he has 21 AC
yeah.
if you do a great weapon.
Ugh.
Okay, doing a regular attack with my greatsword. Here you go.
misses. Your
Ugh.
turn.
Dude, it's
The look has
Perfect
been
range.
insane. The look has been
Perfect
insane
range.
in this fight.
it's actually fucking crazy.
The 20
Well,
to
Mr.
kill
Mutant,
me.
You wouldn't run.
The 20. Sorry, the crit and then rolling 22
Oh.
damage on 2d12 to kill Vasher exactly is fucking mental. I can't believe it.
So I think it's so funny when British people use the word mental. Well, I mean, we say crazy. It's crazy. They say it's mental. It's the same damn thing, but somehow mental just sounds really, really weird to me. So close.
Been a good run, he says, and he attacks with his greatsword. Not Great Weapon Master.
Well, you might as well go for the Great Weapon Master here, no? You need
Well,
if you get a 20 on the Great Weapon Master, you might actually kill him.
Yeah.
You'd need a
trying to
20
think.
though, maybe. I mean,
Let's think about would he ever run if I hit him again? No, he's a hero.
He will kill you if you don't kill him
Yeah.
in this attack.
All right, Great Weapon Master. Might as well get a fucking 20.
Come on, come on, come on, come
This
on.
would be a very good YouTube short, huh?
Yeah, it would be incredible.
oh my god!
Yes!
For 21 plus 5, that's going to be 26 damage.
It's not enough.
There's some confusion over how
What?
the die rolls are, because there's like a re-roll option within them.
Maybe you can
Then have to worry
And
about
there's just a little confusion over whether or not it was working, because the way that the numbers were laid out. It was working fine. It just takes a moment to sort it out to everyone's delight. Do you think you can do it? Do you think you can get that much HP on him? He gets an extra attack because he criticaled. Regular
I
attack.
think I can.
You need a 16 or higher to hit.
23
Yes!
Nice.
for 10.
That is literally their HP. That is
Oh,
literally
yes!
their HP.
What the fuck?
We handled it.
Wait, that's Cassian's
No.
turn. Cassius's turn. Now, what I want more than anything in the world is to roll a 20 here, because the party has done it so many times. If Cassius rolled a 20 and got up and then beat the shit out of the players, that would be awesome. Death saving throw.
Oh, bullshit.
No.
Counter 20. Oh.
Okay, thank God.
But it's Well, important to put him down. It's your turn,
Blow his fucking
Cassian.
head off.
I'm gonna do a attack with advantage.
Yep.
I should just do a regular attack, right? It's automatically a crit if I hit.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do a regular attack, not Great Weapon Master, for 19.
That will hit. You will make 2 failed death saves on
11.
them.
Here's the other damage. It's 22.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have any
It's
other
Cassius's
actions
turn
though,
again.
do you? Oh, it's an automatic crit,
well, it's
so you
automatic
get
crit, so I get
a
another attack.
bonus action.
Yeah.
He's still wearing armor. It's
15 is it
possible.
Dex?
Hold on, let's see what the rules
There's
that
no
we
dex
talked
in there.
about regarding
No.
giving AC adjustments from Dex do not apply when restrained, incapacitated, or otherwise rendered immobile. So their Dex will not apply to this situation.
But they have no dex
so their
modifier
AC
anyway.
is still 16 because they aren't getting any Dex to their AC anyway.
This is
Weirdly,
the time
my
for the
AC is
20.
higher
This is
when
the
I'm down.
time for the monsters to roll
So,
a
yeah,
natural
that's
20
weird.
And save the day.
All right, they get one more death save.
Don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare. Don't you dare, Neal. Just don't even roll it. Just give up.
Oh.
Fuck me.
Okay, here's another attack.
Oh, insane.
23.
And the dwarf dies.
Alive?
So
But today
Yes.
This is an awkward situation now because half the party is dead. Half the party is gone. Now, the player characters can loot everything and steal all the things and clean up the mess and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't really matter. The awkwardness of this is that the party is a pretty well integrated party with a very good backstory that binds them together and keeps them on a specific mission. And introducing new characters at this point in the game is a little bit awkward. How do we want to do that? How do we want to bring in new people? How do we get new people to be part of the storyline? How do we get them to buy in? How do we get the old players to trust the new characters? It's a bit of a tough thing to do. In some ways, it'd be better if the whole campaign fell apart. In other ways, it would be better if we continue. And I think we take a break here and we talk about it offline. And the consensus is that the story feels incomplete if we end it here. So let's just continue. And so that's what we do. We continue. There's a little bit of talk about loot and stuff and money. And the bodyguards carry money, and Cassius carries money. And we could talk a little bit about why, the Cassius has some platinum, and then the bodyguards are carrying the rest of the gold and the silver and the other supplies for him. And it doesn't really matter. That's just standard affairs describing how, the fancy guy doesn't have to carry that much stuff. He has got his minions to carry his stuff for him, but he carries some like really expensive stuff on him. And now he's got this platinum. And we talk, we assign some amount of loot. But we know that the plan is more or less to go back to Scalesvale. And when you get back to Scalesvale, you're probably going to be able to inherit a great amount of wealth from Cassius. And you've got this platinum. The party is going to be loaded, so you don't spend that much time on the loot gathered. I'm going
to tie this to the horse, kind of.
Mm-hmm. A tough spot. But what we do is change the music to Survivors Boyak?
Do a burial.
Here? It'll take a while to dig a grave. You don't... Oh, you do have a shovel.
I have a shovel.
Yeah, you guys rebought shovels. Yeah, okay, so you can dig a shallow grave for your two friends pretty fast. A deep grave would take you a long time. But a shallow one is doable.
I'm gonna do it near this rock. This looks like a pretty iconic cave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put Roy.
This is a sad song. We use a sad song so that everybody remembers
and
that
I'm gonna put Vasher.
We can
here.
feel the death of the
On
characters.
both sides of the rock.
We get
Do you have
a
any
little
words to say
funeral.
about them as you bury them?
Now, one of the interesting parts about this little funeral is that Vasher and Roy Waystar are essentially watching this funeral from above. And I don't know if Mr. Mooten realizes that this is what's happening. I'm sure he's not going to be surprised by that, but it might not have crossed his head here.
No, I think Cassian's pretty speechless right now. He's just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah, nobody could have seen this coming.
Yeah, he'll come to the middle, and he will say a prayer to Velmontarius and ask him to make their rest go easy. He says, if you were going to bring them back, you already would have.
Mm-hmm.
I will continue this quest, and I'll make sure that it's done with Steermere.
Mm-hmm. That's very sweet. And we move on. Our two party members there. So, essentially, the party goes back to Scalesvale. And I'm just going to sort of recap what goes on. They come back to Scalesvale. They walk in. They've got the head of Cassius on the horse. The guards let them in without charging them any money. And they go to Julia Farseer and they ask Julia Farseer, like, what do we do now? Do we own Cassius's stuff? What's going on in this land? And Julia sort of is like, well, this is a matter of power projection. You've killed Cassius. If you can just show up with his head and tell everybody that you get all of his stuff, you'll probably convince some people. And they go to Cassius's place, and like the servants are already looting his house and taking things. The party cows them into submission. And then they do the strongest move I've seen out of these folks in a long time, where they say, you know what, just give everything to Julia. We don't care. And then, Julia, you're going to help us with whatever we need to continue our journey. Because the party doesn't want to own an arena and own an estate and manage property. And like, that's not the goal. They're not sticking around in this town. And so they essentially give all of Cassius's stuff to Julia, all of the property as best as they can. They even go around trying to find like the deeds for the property, and they do a speak with dead, and they ask Cassius where the deeds to the home and the arena are, and he says like, in my heart. And where they ask, where is your heart, and he's like, where I was born. And they're like, well, that could be the Dwarven lands, that could be a lot of things, I don't know. And they kind of, you know, do they really give a shit? Now, the real answer is that property deeds are not always all that important in the modern era. You kind of like really need to prove that you own a property. But like back in the ancient era, I'm not saying there were no property records ever, but I am saying that there were a lot of fires, and paper wasn't a great way of storing things, and stone tablets break. And to a certain extent, for a period of time, the ownership of a building was just sort of known. You know, you might have a city of 30,000 people, and that's your city. In modern age, I live in a city of 100,000 people, and it's a small city, right? But back in the olden days, a big city would be 100,000 people, and that'd be a really big city if we go far enough back into the olden days. And with that 100,000 people, like it's a lot of stuff, but there's enough communal knowledge of who owns what that you don't really have property disputes over like who owns this house or who owns that house, unless it's two family members fighting over ownership of a house after someone dies. So the party is going to be able to inherit these things. The party is going to show up. They're going to be like, this is our stuff now. These are our people now. And everyone's going to be like, cool. And then the party is going to be like, it all belongs to Julia. And even without property records, everyone's going to be like, cool. These people got it all, and then they sold it all to Julia, and now Julia owns all of these things. And it's gonna be smooth, because it's a matter of what people think, not necessarily where the deeds are, not necessarily where the papers are. It's just sort of a communal knowledge and understanding of things. Now, Julia is going to help the party out because they're giving her all of this stuff. She's going to see to it that they are geared up with whatever they want. She's going to make sure they have the armor they need, the gear they need, the weapons they need. She's going to make sure they get some healing potions. She's going to make sure that they're going to get on a boat and get wherever it is that they need to go. And I think in here, the party asks Julia if they have anyone that she can send with them. And I think that might be how we introduce the next set of players, the next set of characters. We're still working on the characters because this is recorded before the 10th session. And I think if it all works out right, and you know, this just happened yesterday or the day before, the party the dead characters the players with the dead characters might come up with new ideas before the next session, so who knows what's really going to happen. But as of now, I think the idea is that Julia, this ally who's deeply indebted to the party at this point, will send some of her bodyguards or soldiers or captains or best men or something. You know, she'll send some of her sub-heroes along with the party to complete the mission. And in the last director's commentary, we talked a lot about whether or not Julia was trustworthy, trying to find that line of like, she seems very reasonable, but can we really trust her? And this is going to be another fun development on that front, where Julia is deeply indebted to the party and obviously wants to talk to these people back home and wants to, you know, help the party achieve their goals so that she can achieve her goals. She's already gotten a great payout from them, but like what she really wanted was communication with far off distant lands, and so she's going to help the party get that. She's sending her men with the party, and her men are going to be pretty strong. So can you really trust it? Or is the DM just trying to get you to doubt your ally? I don't know. Make a deal. But yeah, there's just some talking.
I'd like to
And
present.
this is the. I think this is pretty much all that there's to say about this
Give
session.
him the questions.
They talked to some kids
I'll
of
make you a deal.
Cassius. They managed some supplies.
Led my friend into a dangerous situation.
That's
We have another death scene.
Finnegan must be out there so scared.
We learn that Vasher's horse was actually Vasher's childhood best friend, a guy named Finnegan, and the two of them wandered into the Ogre Woods one day, and an Ogre Magi turned Finnegan into a horse, and that's Vasher's war horse, which is a backstory that he and I had worked out before, but hadn't had an opportunity to show up in game. And so, it makes a lot of the ties to the horse and "we ain't gonna sell my horse" sort of comments a lot more sensible when you realize that there's an unrevealed connection between the man and his horse there. Yeah. So that's that for our director's commentary. Party is half the size. And when we come back next session, we'll see some new party members. And that's it for today's director's commentary. We're going to go. We'll be back in about 2 hours for some critical feedback. And that's that.